So in my last video, we established that what kind of hour the thief comes involves the middle of the night, which is the transition from the finish of second watch time into the beginning of the third watch time, hence what kind of watch time the thief comes. So what I'm going to show you in this video is that the trump here in 1 Thessalonians 4:16 is not the same last trump of 1 Corinthians 15:52. Where understand the word trumpet is largely used for a figure of speech concerning a voice, more particularly a loud voice or a shout, such as the bridegroom is nearing, come out to the epenthesis, which is in the middle of the night, transition from second into third watch time, where all in the sepulchres, according to this timeline, will hear on his voice, the voice of the Son of the human. So again, in relationship to the transition in the middle of the night, the hour the thief comes, well, this points to Luke 12:38 and 39, where in the same context, Jesus speaks another parable in verse 52. And it's here that the thorough parted points back to the transition in the middle of the night. Now here, this reference to the cut in two is how we establish that the trump of God is not the last trump, which term cut in two only occurs twice in the New Testament, right here in Luke 12:46 and in Matthew 24:51, which brings us back to the parable of the 10 virgins, which begins in Matthew 25:1, but if we back up to the last few verses in chapter 24, we find one of the two occurrences of the cut in two, where again the other occurrence is in Luke 12:46. In the same context concerning the midnight transition. And it's this word that establishes the fact that this is not the last trump, the cut in two, which midnight hour divides the 12 hours of the night in half, hence cut in two, middle of the night. So here in the last few verses before the parable of the 10 virgins, pay attention to these key words in relationship to what I talked about in my last video as a thief in the night. Jesus states, so that the Lord of that slave will arrive. Arrive how? As like the thief also arrives. Arrive when? In a day in which he does not hope for, hence what kind of day your Lord comes, and in an hour, hence what kind of hour, which he does not know, which those of us perceiving precisely do know that this concerns the middle of the night transition, when again all in the sepulchres hear on his voice, and those doing the good go out into resurrection of life, and others into a resurrection of judgment. Where I might add that another key word we see in verse 49 concerns those intoxicating themselves, all leading up to the midnight encounter, because those intoxicating themselves would oppose those who are sober-minded. So the cut in two concerns the middle of the night transition, trump of God, which finishes the second watch time but begins the third watch time, reserved for the malicious Christ deniers who are last, hence the last trump. So where the transition in the middle of the night concerns the trumpet of God and the cut in two, the transition from cock's voice into the fourth watch time concerns the last trumpet, which is an uncuttable moment, as opposed to the cut in two, where here the word uncuttable is unique to this one occurrence. And why is the last trump an uncuttable moment? Well, consider the idiom making the cut, which is used in sports to identify the players that are allowed to continue playing. And all who are running in the stadium have 3 opportunities according to the blissful expectation. And the goal of the prize or the deciding factor is the crown of the life, which each according to their own order will receive into the completion, including the thrice deniers. However, those who proceed into the fourth watch time do not make the cut because it's uncuttable. So they forfeit the crown. And according to the transition leading into the fourth watch time, He will dispatch his angels with a great trumpet, the last trumpet, and will lead on together his outchosen ones out of the four winds, the spirit winds concerning the fourth watch time, which then completes the all in all according to the completion of the Christ. Those who will call on the name of the Lord in that last hour make the cut. So to wrap up this video, let's be diligent to give ourselves as standby, approved to God, as unashamed on workers, correctly cutting the word of truth.